To this. With the festive season behind us, many South Africans are feeling the financial strain after dipping into their savings for celebrations as well as family gatherings. Now, Januworry has arrived, bringing with it added expenses. The Credit Association of South Africa is urging consumers to make careful and responsible credit decisions and to borrow only from credit providers who are legally registered with the National Credit Regulator. CEO of the Credit Association of South Africa, Leonie van Pletzen, joins us now to chat more on this. A very good morning to you, Leonie, and thank you so much for your time. In your view, what do you think are the biggest challenges that South Africans face when they are trying to borrow responsibly, especially during periods such as Januworry, and how can these be overcome?
Thank you so much for having me. I think South Africa is seeing that consumers are facing financial strain, and especially after a festive season. I've spoken to a number of our credit providers, as we represent the largest non-bank credit providers in South Africa registered with the National Credit Regulator. So one of the problems that we are seeing is consumers going to the illegal market and accessing credit there. So what happens there is they charge exorbitant interest rates, they keep cards, they keep IDs, and this really prohibits them from accessing legal and formal credit. So high interest rates, illegal credit providers not registered with the National Credit Regulator is a huge concern for our industry.
And Leonie, I mean, every year, every January, we find ourselves in these situations where many people are now looking to find alternative financial sources. Is it a matter of literacy? Is it a matter of education that people are not getting in terms of them finding themselves again at this place? Or is it really that people are quite stretched in terms of their pockets?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think education needs to take, place better, and I really feel that our consumers are struggling. So what I want to tell consumers is, if you are struggling to repay your credit providers, don't disappear. The best advice that I can give you is speak to your credit provider, because usually our credit providers that are regulated with the National Credit Regulator are there for the consumers. So they will make a payment arrangement. Just don't disappear, because as soon as you stop paying, it will definitely negatively influence your credit record. If you feel that you are stressed, talk to the credit provider, make is registered with the National Credit Regulator. And I can't stretch budgeting is making sure that you actually access credit that you can afford and that you can repay.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned earlier on when it comes to people now having to hand over their IDs. Talk to us about the most common risks that are associated with informal or illegal lenders targeting vulnerable households, and what steps can consumers take to protect themselves?
Yes, so illegal credit providers are not registered with the National Credit Regulator. They do not comply with the regulatory rates and fees. So they charge interest rates of up to 100% per month. So if you had a loan of 50 Rand, you will have to repay 100 Rand. They also, take your ID, your cards, and that means with them in this debt loop. So I think the first thing that consumers should do is make sure that they've got an NCRCP number. And if you are unsure, you can contact the association and we can verify those credit providers for you. Make sure that you read the documentation, as we see that illegal credit providers don't have any formal documentation, so there's no contract to sign. And never pay upfront fees. If any credit provider asks you to pay any upfront fees, you don't have to do that. Make sure that you also use the right product and don't delay payments, because it may seem like a very easy tool now, but later in the year you will face some problems.
Yeah, and how do societal attitudes towards debt also just influence consumer behavior?
So I think everyone is ashamed of debt, and I don't think consumers know that credit can actually be a tool for you. If you use credit correctly, it can be a tool to grow your own business, but it has to be done correctly, and you must make sure that you use it for the right purpose. Don't overspend, make sure you budget, and make sure that you can repay.
And I can imagine that beyond just the festive season and the January blues, we need to have strategies in place in order for us to have that long-term efficiency when it comes to our financial standing.
Definitely. I think that long-term efficiency is very important. You shouldn't use credit just to meet a need now. You should really plan for what the credit is going to do for you and how credit can actually work for you. Credit is not something that you should be ashamed of. It can really work in your favor. And if you make use of the right credit provider, that credit provider can guide you. Credit can also be used in very productive places as well. You know, like I said, opening up a business, building on to rent a room. I think credit can help South Africa, but at this stage we are seeing that consumers are struggling quite a lot.
All right, there's a lot that our consumers need to get through, but certainly with some of these nuggets of wisdom, many of them will be out of the financial situations that they find themselves in. That's the CEO of the Credit Association of South Africa, Leonie van Pletzen. Thank you so much for your time.